Hey! Hi, everybody. Hi. Peace and love. Hi. How are you? Hi, Jose. Peace and love. Hi. Peace and love. Where are you from? Tell me where you're from. Hi, Nancy. Peace and love. Tell me where you're from. Hi. What's up? Peace and blessings. Aburobwe Boshishe. Hi, Alafia. What's up? Ekaroy, Ekale, Ekasan for some of you. It's in the afternoon. Peace and love, Ron Trent. Much love to you. Thank you so much for your house music. Thank you, thank you. Thank you so much for all of your house music. Thank you. Peace and love to everyone. Hi. Tell me where you're from. Okay. Hi, everyone. Peace and love. Mwah, mwah. I miss everybody in New York. Peace and love to all of you. Today we're going to start off with prayer like we always do. So relax your shoulders. I know some of you have had a long week with children and trying to get back to work and all of your creativity coming forward and all of that. Just relax your shoulders. And take a breath and let it out. Ah. Right? Again, take a deep breath. Let it out. Ah. Relax your shoulders. Right? So I pray today that Olodumare please speak through me and guide me through today's lesson of practical methods of protection in chaos. I pray that everybody is in alignment with Olodumare, with Ori, with their mothers and their fathers, and that they give homage to them, that they give homage to the Irumole, primordial energies, Orisha, deified ancestors, all of their ancestors, Egbe, their heavenly peers. I pray that we give homage to all of our teachers, our godparents, our babas, our iyas. I pray that we give homage to all of our family and friends, even to the strangers that have given us just one word or one sentence that has directed us on a better path in life. I pray that we are able to continually move forward and be able to accomplish our destiny as smoothly as possible with all of the courage that we need to do so. So peace and love to everybody. Hi. So today, I also want to say, please subscribe to my YouTube page. Ifashiwafa Twing is also my YouTube page. For those of you that want to learn Osei Ifa, please inbox me. Inbox me and we will go over Osei Ifa, which you do every five days. I will, for New York, New Yorkers, I want to let you know, and I'll do my best to also repeat this later as well, is that for Osei Ifa, you can do it with coconut. You can do it with just pouring palm oil and gin. I know there's a lot of you in New York that no longer have like Obi and Orogbo and things like that, but you do have accessibility to OTI, which is alcohol, gin, or EPO, EPO, which is red palm oil. So I know that you have access to those, so please pray and do your morning prayers. Remember, you're supposed to memorize them. Do your morning prayers. And if you don't have it, just inbox me and then I will email it to you. Say the prayers from your heart. And then just pour the palm oil in the gin after you're done. So I wanted to let y'all know that all in one swoop, because a lot of you have been asking me, hey, I don't have any Obi and Orogbo. And there's other ways. So if you want to know, just inbox me, or after this, you can call me or text me and we can communicate on how to do Osei Ifa. The most important part are your prayers. Morning prayers with Odus and also prayers from your heart. So please make sure that you are consistently doing that to clear yourself, to embrace the goodness coming to you, and to truly keep that connection. Today's topic is practical methods of protection in chaos. And when I say practical, I mean things that you can do where you are right now. Be it if, you know, you have, you can't get a hold of your Baba or your Iya or things like that, but literally practical things that you can do right now. You know, and one of the things that you can do is breathe. Breathe. I know that breathing has now been taken on a whole nother level. The preciousness of it. People have been taking advantage of it. People have been blocking it and those types of things. But that is the very thing that helps you have clarity in thought, in body, in connection with your body. You know, you have access to prayers. So your prayers are heard by Olodumare. So please be aware of the type of prayers that you're saying. Please don't say, let that person get hit by a Mack truck. Don't say that. You know, pray for solutions, you know, practical solutions that you can participate in that will really bring about a better change. When I say methods, there are several ways when I say practical methods of protection in chaos. There are many ways, right? There's Ifa, there's yoga, there's the realization of triggers and habits in your life. Those bring about better methods, and we're going to go over that. You know, so practical methods of protection, courage. Have the courage and the bravery to face what is happening outside in the world, but more so what is happening inside of you. Be fully aware and present of what is happening with you. Let's sit with that just for a moment. Let's really sit with that. What have you been thinking? What have you been consistently doing? All of those kinds of things, because that will bring about a practical method that you can utilize to make things better. When I say protection, I mean mindfulness. I mean awareness. I mean aware of your decisions. Your decisions are your protection. Yes, you can burn sage. You can burn different types of peppers in your house. You can do things that have to do with Florida water. All different types of ways, putting salt and water and things like that. Yes, there's all of these rituals, but your protection before you even touch anything is your mindfulness and awareness of your decisions that are going to help in the long run, And when I say in chaos, I mean not serving. Things that are not serving you are chaotic and conflicting. I mean, and that also brings about an awakening. It brings forth an awakening. In Ifa, we are always going into another level of awakening, another level, a deeper part of us, a deeper part of our Ile or temple or center or family. We get deeper into that. So then we're able to progress in a more beneficial way for ourselves and for the community. Today, when I'm talking about practical methods of protection and chaos, please keep in mind planning and practice. Those two words, keep them in your mind throughout the lesson today, right? Is planning and practice. And because that takes a load off so you can see more clearly. Are you running or are you establishing? Are you having inconsistencies? Are you inconsistent or are you present? Are you beating yourself up? Or are you reminding yourself that you're going to be all right and okay? What is it that is happening? And it starts from home. It starts from home. It starts in your ori. It starts in your head. It starts from your body. You really got to be in touch with your body, especially this year, right? And I'm also going to be talking a little bit about Ejiogbe, because that's going to be today's, that's the Odu that we're going to go over today, is Ejiogbe. That was the cast, meaning the divination that was done for the year 2020 to 2021, end of May, beginning June, right? Ejiogbe. And it came in all-encompassing array. But there are things that we really, really need to do this year. And one of the things is work. And we're going to get into that. So the planning and the practice and the thing like that starts from home. Look honestly at the dynamics of where you are right now in your body, in your environment, in your creativity. Where are you right now? I know it's a new month. Some people have fears because of rent and paying bills and all of those things. However, you must know with Ifa, with Orisha, you will be okay. No matter what. You are the essence of a divine being. You will be okay. All right? So, practical methods of protection in chaos. Here are some things that I thought of before we go into the Odu. Number one, pour love in your home and inside of your head. The song goes, I wake up in the morning and I hold my head. I wake up in the morning and I hold my head. So wake up in the morning, hold your head. Why? Because success is there. Right? Success is all in your head. And number one, pour love into your head, your body, your home, where you live. Number two, speak the truth. When I say speak the truth, be honest, speak the truth. You don't have to tell it to somebody, but at least tell it to yourself. Tell it to yourself, Make sure that you are speaking the truth. That is also facing your fears and having solutions. Having solutions, that is going to be really, really important this year, is having solutions. Number three, forgiveness. Having forgiveness, let their lesson be their lesson. But you make sure that you got a solution for your lesson. Make sure that you have something that is going to help you progress. and live in simplicity at its highest level. Number 4, space of peace with daily rituals of cleansing and renewing. Cleansing and renewing. That is consistent. It is consistent in pretty much anything that I know that people practice that is of a high vibration is cleansing and renewing. Number 5, silence. Silence. Have your time, your moments of silence. I cannot stress that enough. So you can sit with what is going on so you can hear clearly and see clearly. And then you will be able to articulate later what it is that is very important. Make sure you have times of silence. The world right now is loud. It's loud and noisy. I'm not saying that sometimes, like what I'm saying is that sometimes there is a time to really speak up and say something. But then you must have your times of silence. Right? So today I want to also do the Odu Eji Ogbe. That was the year's cast. Now, one of the questions that somebody asked me is why does Africa have a lot of the New Years that are happening in different parts of Africa? Why do they have it at this time? This is the planting of the new yam. It's not like here in America where we have New Year in winter, in the middle of winter, where we ain't planting anything. We're just, a lot of us are stuck in the house due to snow or ice or things like that. We try to go and see, the ball drop and all of that stuff. But they do things that are very practical. And they have the New Year at a time of planting, and harvesting and things like that. So, about Eji Ogbe. So, Olodumare is very important this year. Orunmila. For those of you that have one hand to be Ifa, full initiation, get connected with Orunmila. For those that don't have one bead, find out, ask, who is Orunmila? That's the boss. Who is Orunmila? And why is Orunmila so important? Or why are Eshu and Orunmila so tight? This is your study. Do your research. Just don't go by what I say. Look it up for yourself of how important Orunmila and Eshu are and how tight they are. Obatala. Obatala is very important this year. The owner of the white cloth, the transparency, the peace, the patience, the humility, moving forward thoughtfully, really having a purpose and moving forward. Obatala is very important. Help mold you. So Obatala, the one of clarity, a constant reminder. Our Ori is important this year. Ori is important. So in Eji Ogbe, some of the things that was discussed about Eji Ogbe for the year is we must do our work so we can celebrate. And when I say do your work, yes, do your cleansing of your house and prayers and things like, but really do your work. Really pull in how and embrace how you are going to be able to move forward when you don't get stimulus checks, when you don't get certain phone calls, when you don't get what is your plan? What is your plan and your practice to move forward? What is your purpose and how can you present that to the world and share it and be well compensated for it? How do you do that? Sit and really think about the type of work that you can do. And I know some people have also been talking about traveling and things like that, but just be aware of your travels if it's not necessary. I know like a lot of my friends have already left to Gambia, to Tanzania, to Nigeria, to Gambia, to Ethiopia, to all of these different, Kenya, to all of these different places, Namibia, South Africa, they've already jumped ship. They left. They were like, there is no need in me being here. So right now, traveling right now, just really make sure it would have to be out of necessity. So just be very, very careful with that, because I know some of you that do work travel. So make sure that you're asking Ifa about your travels. Okay? The other thing, number 2, so number 1, do your work, so we can celebrate. Number 2, leadership. Really pay attention to the progress in leadership. Y'all, the leadership here has not been too well in America, right? And in other countries as well. However, it's for us to really look at it in an honest way. What has been the repetitive character traits of leadership? Are we progressing? Are we learning new things? Or do we keep just going over the same thing over and over and over again? Are we moving on to new things? Things like that. Like, leadership is really, really important. Who are you following? And I'm not saying that we shouldn't follow somebody or that we should. What I'm saying is just really just look at the leadership in your country, but in your own home. Are you leading your own life? Ladies, are you allowing the men to lead? Now, somebody had sent me a question about leadership in the home and about men. And some women, let me tell you, are not used to hearing a man lead. They're not even used to hearing. Some people don't even trust it. So we really have to reflect on that. We really have to reflect on that. The leadership in your life and the leadership in your home. And out in the world, temples, all of that. Leadership is important this year. Number 3 is accepting character traits. Just really accepting them, just how they are, because there's going to be alternative motives, manipulations, and deceit this year. And we have to make sure that we're not participating in that. So just to really be aware of the manipulation this year. There's Odus that in Ejiogbe that talk about that people are going to come like this. And then when you ain't looking, they're going to be like this. So you really got to be careful this year of the manipulation that is happening. And just don't blow up about it. If somebody says this year that they're going to be your friend and they're going to help you, and then they decide not to, just say ashe and just let them go on by. And you make sure that, let's go back to number 2, that you are a leadership in your life. You have leadership in your life that is pure and that has solutions. We need more videos, more, things, books and things like that literally have solutions to what we can do in a practical way in our home. Yes, we need long-term solutions, but solutions right now with yourself and in your home. So just be careful of the deceit this year. Number 4, women, please be aware of your bodies. All right? Please be aware of your body, that your body's not being taken advantage of either by what you eat or what somebody feeds you, even in your thoughts and images, sexually, drinking. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water, and that you're also not, polluting yourselves with a lot of either alcohol or things like that you're not supposed to be drinking. Women, be aware of just your bodies and your vibration. And when you feel something, right, because we're feelers, right? When you feel something, make sure that you sit with it for some seconds or a minute before you open your mouth. Because ladies, we may not be the strongest beings on this earth by fists, but our mouth can really tear something down long term for somebody, but also we can build a nation with our mouth, with how we speak to our children. Just don't tell them no, no, no. Don't. Tell them who they are. Tell them they are divine beings here. They are divine. Remind them, remind your mate, you are divine. You can do this. You know? So women, just be aware of your bodies this year. Number 5 is mending meaningful relationships. If there is a relationship you really need to mend, please mend it. Be it physically or just in your own head, send out the energy in prayer, or just with people maybe that has even passed. You want to have mendable relationships on all levels. Mendable relationships, this is the time of year. It is very, very important because we need trust in our communities. Have forgiveness, have humility, surrender to something higher than you, and make sure that you're thinking clearly about what you're doing and what you're saying and being very specific about in your prayers. You know, so just make sure that, you know, the things that you really want to mend, please mend it this year. This is going to be a good year for that. So Ejiogbe. When I first heard that Ejiogbe was the Odu for this year, this is the first thing that popped in my mind was laziness, because the Ejiogbe talks about laziness, not being lazy. Because a lot of us, or some of us, have been lazy, inconsistent, procrastinating, you know, not being creative, waiting for handouts. We have been lazy. So that was the first thing that popped in my head. So this is what it says in Ejiogbe, right? And at the end, it may sound a little harsh. However, just look at it in different ways when it starts to talk about death. Ejiogbe, do your work. I am not working. This was the Ifa cast for the lazy person who sees work but chooses to remain idle. He who sleeps until the sun is overhead, he who relies on that which is possessed through inheritance, exposes himself or herself to suffering. If we do not toil and sweat profusely today, we cannot become wealthy tomorrow. March through the mud. I cannot march through the mud. Our mouths cannot eat good food. These were Ifa's declarations of Ifa to the lazy person who possesses strong limbs but refuses to work. He who chooses to be idle in the morning, he is only resting for suffering in the evening. Only toiling can support one. Idleness cannot bring dividend. Whoever refuses to work, such a person does not deserve to eat. If a lazy person is hungry, please let him die. Dead or alive, a lazy person is a useless person. Now, I know that sounds harsh. I know when I first read it, I was like, what? That is a lot. However, we cannot be lazy this year. Those of us that are lazy will be left behind. You must do your work, your internal work first. Remember I said, please just don't ask Eshu to just open the door for opportunities outside of us. Make sure Eshu opens the door on the inside so we can be creative and loving and compassionate and be able to move forward in an appropriate manner that is beneficial in the long run, right? So laziness is not permitted this year. This is what the message also says. Ifa will not make someone who has refused to work hard to be more successful than those who struggle to achieve success. This shows that no amount of Ifa consultation or Ebo sacrifice will make Ifa bless a lazy person to become richer than a hard-working person. We are going to have to work this year. Now, I know somebody is all about you don't have to work hard in order to be able to progress and things like that. That's not what the Odu is saying this year. Maybe that could have been last year or the year before that. It is saying we are going to work hard. And I'm not necessarily saying working hard at a job or things like that, but we are really going to have to work hard on our internalness. Inside of our bodies, inside of our head, inside of our elays, inside of our temples, inside of our homes, with our mates, with our work that we do, be it outside in a corporation or us as entrepreneurs. We are really going to have to work precisely so we can effectively bring forth better solutions, better living, and those types of things. Right? That's what the Odu is saying for this year in Ifa. So I also want to go over a few more things. Another thing that I want to make this practical, right? So practical methods of protection in chaos. You know that little box that you might have in the house or a suitcase that's empty? Utilize it this year. You know, things are popping off and things have popped off that have just been unfathomable. You know, people passing away through diseases, police brutality, through just illnesses that just happened just, before or during these things happening, financial, economic struggle and those types of things. And that some people have had to move in with family members or things like that, or have had to leave certain areas due to looting, rioting, fires, and things like that. This year, be prepared. And I'm going to tell you what you probably already know in practical ways with that magic box and that one suitcase to make sure that you have what you need. Make sure you have your computer data on a stick or a little UBS stick or something like, make sure you have several of those. Even if you have it on DVDs or whatever it is that you have it on, make sure that you have those things handy and in that box that you can just grab it and go. That you can literally just grab and go. Right? So make sure you have that, your flash drive, whatever. Make sure you have an extra phone. And if it needs a SIM card, make sure you have that, an extra phone, your extra SIM card, things like that. Make sure you have your important papers and your passport in that box or suitcase. Make sure you have copies of it, right? Make sure that you have phone numbers, addresses, and emails written down. Just do not rely on electronics. This is practical. This is practical. I have been through earthquakes, lines go down and everything, or my phone goes out because I didn't charge it, not knowing that the earthquake was going to happen. And lo and behold, I can't remember somebody's phone number. Have things written down. It will help you. Have copies of things, trust me. Also, special meeting places. Make sure you have that with your family. Have passwords that you need to exchange with your children. Things like this is practical. We know this, but have we done it? Make sure you have a special meeting place if anything were to happen or you get separated. Solar chargers. I have solar chargers. I make sure that I have at least 2 solar chargers, meaning that it's a small box and I charge it with the sun. So I'm not relying just on electricity. Get those things so you can plug up your phone, plug up your computer, or plug up something small like a lamp or things like that. Make sure you have a solar charger. Make sure you have dried herbs, dried food, or water or something like that also packed away, just in case you have to leave your area very quickly. For those of you that are in New York, right? Because you know how we have the classes, we had the classes going on in Brooklyn, but now due to all of COVID-19 and stuff like that, we have to do it via online. For you in New York, or maybe even in major cities, know how to get out of your city without public transportation. I can't even tell you how important that is. I have been in a town and not know how to get out without public transportation. Know how to get out of your city. Literally walk out of your city. You know, just know that route. If for people that have cars or vans or USVs or things like that, make sure you have extra clothes, scarves, masks, gloves, soap, hygiene products, tissue, wipes. Make sure you have that set aside in the car, right? Keep your car full tank. You know, these are just practical things that help relax us, you know, not put us into stress, but help us relax because we are prepared. Remember, I said planning and practice is key. So make sure you have those things in place, right? Make sure you know also how to secure yourself in your home for a long period of time. Let me tell you, all the stuff that has gone on, it has really taught us that. It's really taught us how much we rely on somebody else. You know, and I'm not saying we shouldn't rely on our community and come together. What I'm saying is in your home and inside your body, we have to plan and practice to make sure that we are fully aware when something happens in the present moment, right? And not freak out, right? So these are some of the, I have gotten like emails or messages or things in my inbox about certain things, about bills, about they've been having bad dreams and things like that. So for those of you that have asked questions, I'm going to go over a list so we can do things in a practical way. So we want to know how to do Osei Ifa, or know how to connect spiritually in alignment with Olodumare, Orunmila, and Obatala. We want to know how to do that. So this is what somebody said. I got a bill today and it shook me. So I'm going to say it shook me through quite a few of them because this is what they meant. She said, I got a bill today, a notice, and it shook me. I said the reason why is so to be aware of your place in this world and how to create. I got a bill, I got a notice, it shook me. To be aware of my place in this world and how to create. I got an unexpected phone call and it shook me. A reminder to breathe and that Olodumare is in control. While sleeping, I had a horrible dream and it shook me to reflect on my reality. What they said and did shook me. I'm an honest person and I pay my taxes. And that vibration was an awakening moment. This is when we realize we really got to do our prayers to Olodumare and to our ancestors and really be in connection with Orunmila and Obatala. We realize we have a healing appointment with Ifa. When someone has done you wrong and you still realize that we're trying to get a quick fix or just blame, then you know what? We have a healing moment with Olodumare. When someone is not in your face and you still are telling an angry story without a solution, we got a healing moment with Olodumare. When we receive tools that we don't know how to work and start cussing out our godparents, teachers, babalawos, babas, Ianifas, Ias, family members, and we are the ones who chose those tools, we need a healing moment with Olodumare. When we get new pots, new mats, new clothes, more cloth, more feathers, train track parts, and our character has not changed for the better, we need a healing moment with Olodumare. When we are in fear to have that conversation with our Ilays, our temples, our bosses, our mates, our family members, our godparents, our babalaos, those who guide us, and with our children, or any pain that's going on in our home and in our heart, we have a healing appointment with Olodumare. When we blame and refuse or procrastinate and do not reflect on our own lack of maturity, our stability, our participation in situations, conditions, issues, how we speak, things that block us from our greatness in Ifa, which delivers simplicity, answers, and peace. We have a divine appointment we need to make with Olodumare. So those are some of the things in a way that I can answer what has been going on, right? And especially the questions that I've been getting in my inbox and texts. Somebody also asked the question about, they're doing well, they're progressing and things like that. And Ifa, they're having a better connection with their family. They're having a better connection with themselves, with their career and things like that, even with money. But yet they have a feeling of catastrophe happening. This is a horrible time right now. These are not good things that are happening, but it is an awakening moment. So things can get better and we can live better. So they're wondering how, in a practical way, to be able to either control or manage that feeling of catastrophe, anxiety, issues, and things like that. There's 3 things that I want to bring up with that in answering that question. Number 1, who are you? Who do you think you are? That is important because you are going to rely on that. We rely on Ifa, but we also rely on who we are. So really dissect that question for you. Who are you? With things that you invest in and that you give and you share, but then without things. What are your methods and what is your strength? Where do you pull your strength from? Right? Somebody said that they pull their strength from their ancestors. You are a combination of your ancestors. That's why you're living in this time right now. That's why you're able to stand up and have the courage right now. That's why you're cleaning out right now. It's because you are an accumulation of your ancestors in this time right now. Everything that you've studied, you've learned, you've heard from wisdom, from different people and orishas and reading Odus and all that. You did all that so you can be who you need to be right now. Through music, through your voice, through different ways, through your works of writing books, through your ways of maybe having silence and going within, being outside at a place that you know will make a difference. Things like that. All of that, you chose to be here right now. And the courage came with you in your birth. Right? So, who are you? Really look at that. Number 2, what cost is it for you to live the simple truth? What does that cost for you to live the simple truth? What is it that you really have to let go of? So for someone who keeps having anxiety coming up or feeling like there's a catastrophe or things like that, really, really think about what is it going to take in order for you to live your truth in the most simplest and peaceful way? What is that cost? And what does that feel like? Are you willing to let things go? Are you willing to have the give yourself permission to be okay? You know, what is the cost of that? And really just look at it and just reflect on that. The last and third thing I want to say for people that keep feeling that is, how were you raised? Because that plays a big part in how you're functioning now, reacting now, being responsible now, being accountable now, is how you were raised. So in what way were you raised? Were you raised in happiness to where you had a childhood and you were given different tools from your parents or your guardian, like maybe a different language, maybe learning about principles, laws, and character traits? What were you given as a child? Really look at that. Were you raised with anger, which has made you have a defense, to be defensive? Look at how you were raised. Were you raised in poverty to where you feel abandoned when things happen? Have you been able to really work towards going and focusing towards the solutions to make sure that you have that type of stability? Did you wake up in a peaceful place? That has maybe made you even oversensitive to things that are happening now. It's great to live in peace and have all of that, but sometimes it can make you even more sensitive to things or not be able to work well under pressure. So yes, we are to go for peace, but there is strength in peace. We see monks all the time on YouTube, and in 1 minute they're like this, and then the next minute they're like this. They know how to do what they need to do in order to protect themselves. That is the type of protection that I'm talking about. That's the type of peace that I'm talking about, is that from planning and practicing, how to protect yourself on all levels. How were you raised? Were you raised in a toxic area? And now you're trying to go into something that is holistic and lighter? That can literally cause stress in the body, but that's good stress, because now you're learning how to utilize your ori, your head, and your body in a completely different way to be able to really protect yourself, protect your family, and things like that. Did you grow up in Brick City? Did you grow up in New York? I'm a New Yorker. I grew up in New York. I grew up in New Jersey. I'm grateful that I've had the opportunity to live on the East Coast, the West Coast, and in Africa. So depending upon how much nature you have been around can also affect your level of what is that called when you're constantly looking over your shoulder? Paranoia, right? So that too can play a part in it. And just keep in mind that a breakdown is a breakthrough, so you can have newness in your life. We have to function in a new way. What we knew before is not coming back. It is not, and that's okay. So now we can live better and more in a better way that is true stability. We're more aware of GMOs, food that is toxic. Now we're more aware of what we will not receive if there is a catastrophe in America. I know a lot of people that have just complained about that $1,200. Some people were okay with it, but then there are a lot of people that also were like, there's no way in 3 months that we can live off of that. New York rent alone is way more, is triple that, and in San Francisco, it's triple that. and things, and things like that. I really prayed as for those of you that are homeowners and apartment complex owners and things like that, that you really be compassionate at this time, and really speak with the people that live in these places that you own. So those are the things that I really want to talk about today for practical methods of protection and chaos. Utilize what you have. But one of the first things that you have to work with is yourself. I really pray that people have peace of mind and serenity and are able to get to nature and are able to do the breathing work that they need, to be able to do maybe even the yoga that they need, to be able to have the discussions in their home, honestly, that they need so they can move forward. Really be able to, because if you don't have trust in yourself, trying to have trust in a community is going to be difficult. Let me tell you, when I was in New York, I had this class that I was saying, how many people do you trust? And some people were like one person, two people, maximum was like around 3 people. And I was like, how are we going to be a community if we don't even trust people? How does that happen? If things go wrong and we need different types of businesses that work better for us, like just how we're built and our diet, Latino people work well with Latino type food, African Americans work good with African American foods or African foods or things like that. Like, where do we get those things when we can't move anywhere? Do they have delivery service? Do we even know where they are? Do we know where to buy products that we need on a daily basis, like toilet tissue and things like that, from our own communities? Who's producing that? Where is it coming from? So we really have to think and build on a completely different level. Ejiogbe this year is telling us, do not be lazy. And don't think that your dreams are too far away, are just too far-fetched. It can happen this year. Thank goodness, that your prayers are going to be answered. What you needed to be able to move forward and to be able to build and progress in a community or be an entrepreneur or things like that can come together for you this year. And I really pray that, you really work hard on those things and focus on those things and just don't look at TV and stuff like that. And don't let your children do that either. Make sure that they're looking at things that are going to help them. Maybe survival videos, maybe videos on Ifa, hearing the music from Ifa, looking at documentaries and things like that. Cut back on things that you just don't need right now. So you can invest in yourself so you can be a better person in this world. So really planning and practicing is going to be key this year. So I really do thank everybody for coming in to listen to this message. For those of you that have been sending donations, I really do thank you. I'm looking forward this month to my website, ifashiwa.com, to where I'll be having classes for people that have no beads, a lot of beads, one bead, meaning necklaces, lekes, or things like that, beginning classes to make sure that we are grounded in the truth of who we are before we run out and go and get something, right? So do what you got to do. Get on Wix.com and make your and make your website. You can do it for free. Do whatever it is you need to do, sweetie, because we need you. You are an important ingredient in this world. It is you that is really going to make the difference. We need you. You are a worthy person. I love all of you. And I thank you for coming to my page today. I will see you next Sunday and every Sunday on my Facebook page. so we can have these discussions, so we can really, and discussions in our family and with our friends, and also to make sure that we sit and ask ourselves these questions. I'll always try to make sure that I have questions that you can reflect on. So look at Otura Tuka Los Angeles on Facebook as well. Look at other things. And I want to give a great shout out to the Otura Tuka Temple in Brooklyn for all the work that you're doing. Mama Naya and Baba Umpo that have the herbal Cosmic Enterprises in Brooklyn. You're doing great work to help with healing. I'm so thankful for all the people that have made masks and things like that with materials from their homes, the African materials and things like that they have. I'm just so grateful for all the people that have been coming forward and doing the work. I'm just so grateful for you. And we're going to continue, and we're going to see all of the solutions in a practical way. Peace.